Igneous Rocks. So before you start this, I want you to have a look at the introduction to Igneous Rocks video. It's in the link in the description. So have a look at that now. You'll need your flowchart. You'll need to fill in the Igneous Rock part of that. So if you watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, come on. Igneous Rocks, so they're made from molten rock. So magma is molten rock. If the magma gets to the surface, we call it lava. So when it's under the surface, we call it magma. As soon as it breaks through the surface, we call it lava. You can find yourself a video of volcanoes and stuff like that with that happening. That's really all that is. So an intrusive igneous rock is an igneous rock that forms underground. So it forms from magma. That magma has not reached the surface. It cools slowly, and because it cools slowly, it can have big crystals. So this bit of granite down here has big crystals. Compared to this obsidian here, we cannot see any. There's probably some tiny ones in there, but we can't see them. We can't see, there's little crystals here in this pumice, but again, not very big. This basalt, again, can't really see crystals in it, but this bit of peridotite has a mineral called olivine in it, and there are crystals in that. This is intrusive, but the basalt around it is extrusive. This is intrusive, this is extrusive, this is extrusive. So bigger crystals, and the other ones don't really have visible crystals. So extrusive formed above the surface, so they form from lava, they come out. So obsidian, basalt, scoria, and pumice. So there's no picture of scoria here. That's just another one. We don't need to watch that. Characteristics of igneous rock. They are hard and strong, yet they are brittle. Brittle means they won't bend. Righty, so granite, hard and strong, but if you try to bend it, it's just going to snap. It's going to take a lot of pressure to snap it, but that's what's going to happen, it just won't bend. Whereas if you've got a sedimentary rock, particularly if you're gentle with it, you can get it to bend over time with a little bit of heat. So interlocking crystals. So when you look at the crystals in it, kind of like random, like you see in a sandstone, they're actually interlocking into each other. So they're kind of grown next to each other and sort of grown around each other a little bit. Coarse-grained means big crystals. Fine-grained means pretty much no crystals, or not visible crystals. Oh, I'm sure you can find a video about Hawaii's lava flow. Go and have a look at that. Usually do not have visible crystals. Can be glassy. So obsidian is a glassy rock, or fine-grained. So basalt's fine-grained. Can have bubbles in them. Pretty cool. Can be pyroclastic. So pyroclastics actually look like sedimentary rocks. So you could look up on YouTube. You could look up some pyroclastic rocks. Bubbles. So bubbles you're going to get in scoria and pumice. There's a lava fountain. Pretty cool. So you're not going to need to know anything like this level, but it's interesting just to have a look at what it is. So coarse, fine, vesicular, and glassy. So we're looking at the smoothness or roughness essentially of the rock. So coarse means big crystals, fine means meh. Vesicular means it's got bubbles in it, and glassy means it's that really polished. You can really polish it up and it looks like glass, essentially. Can't always see through it, but it looks like glass, so really fine and smooth. Coarse grain, so granite we've spoken about already, and those green ones were peridotite. Really, at year 8 level, you're just going to need to know granite. If you know a couple more, well done. Fine grained, again, the one we'd be concerned that you know is basalt. If you know any of the others, good for you. But rhyolite's pretty cool actually. Go and have a look and see how rhyolite forms. Vesicular, pumice and scoria, you need to know both of those. So pumice is the really light one that floats. Scoria isn't light and it's really quite sharp actually. Scoria is not something, they both get ejected, exploded out of volcanoes, but different types of volcanoes to do with how thick the magma is and all of that sort of stuff. And the only glassy igneous rock is obsidian. That's the only glassy one. And this looks at different chemical compositions of these different rock types. But again, you don't need to worry about that. That's pretty cool. Fingal's Cave, it's in Scotland. These are basalt pillars. Now what's happened is kilometres thick of lava has poured to the Earth's surface. This was a long time ago, obviously. Probably, maybe even before life. I don't know. Anyway, it's kilometres thick. And what happened is it was really hot. but then it eventually cooled. Now when something cools, it contracts. So what's happened is it's pretty interesting, just to do with physics and the stresses. It contracted into these hexagonal shapes. Pretty cool. They're called basalt pillars. Yeah, so it's not an ancient forest if you ever see them. There is one down in the southwest of Western Australia, in the Great Southern. Can't remember what the national park. It's called Black Point, if you ever want to go there.